more than just a great set of...
It's the greatest double feature of all time.
Ladies and gentlemen, big round of applause for Cassandra Peterson! One more time, Cassandra Peterson, everybody! Welcome! Hello, how did all this shit? 1 second, guys. You look absolutely stunning. What? You look beautiful. Thank you so much for joining us here today.
Oh, thank you. You're welcome.
So we have something pretty cool. What we're actually going to do is show some clips because it has been 30 years since your film. Right? I'm sure everyone here has seen it, Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. So if it's okay with you, is it okay if you roll the first short little film over here?
Sure.
Okay. Shadow Facts, hit it.
So the joy of doing the screenplay was that the three of us came to it as a real creative collaboration and crafted both the story and the screenplay over a period of a few months back in those days, I believe, 87. And so other than the character was fully realized before we got there, but the story and that came to be Elvira, Mistress of the Dark really began as a full collaboration, which was always the fun of it. Cassandra did have an idea of where she wanted to go, and it was kind of the kind of iconic girl with a dream. And she was, Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz with cleavage. She was that kind of sparkly, naive character in that ridiculous outfit and bouffant hair that wanted to go to Vegas, and so as simple as that, that was the quest.
Elvira, that's fantastic.
Las Vegas. Las Vegas. Las Vegas. So my first question for you is, what was the creative process like when you were writing the film with Sam and John?
Oh, it was absolutely one of the best experiences of my life. More fun than I've ever had without laying down. It was so awesome. We had like a couple of months that we were in an actual office, like from 9 to 5, and just telling jokes and eating takeout food and having the best time ever. Really, that was the most fun part of making the movie.
Awesome. All right, let's roll the second clip, Shadow.
Couldn't have been more of an equal collaboration. I mean, I have to say that Cassandra was our captain at all times because, this is her character from the get-go. And, but in terms of being open to creative input from John and myself, she was incredibly open. And what you see on the screen is the labor of all three of our loves.
You know you make me
So who would you say had the most input into the script?
I think the person that had the most input was all three of us, so equally. I mean, I can kind of look back and remember, oh, Sam wrote this part, John wrote that joke, I came up with that joke. I think it was a very, very equal collaboration. I don't think anybody was carrying any heavier weight. Although Sam was responsible for being the adult in the room because John and I can't be. So he did have to like calm us down and be like the principal and send us to our room if we were too naughty. But he mostly kept it together and went home and wrote the script himself. So he had to type it all in with all the crazy stuff that we'd all come up with.
And how much of your original idea did end up in the final film?
The total original idea ended up in the film, thank God, with a lot of setbacks and stuff. For example, they didn't want to shoot the Vegas number. They ran out of money and decided we couldn't do the Vegas part. And I mean, Can you imagine the film without that? It just ends with me sitting on the porch, all depressed. Oh my God. Wow. So, anyway, and all of our stuff was in, but NBC wanted to add the teenagers, which we didn't have in the original script. And you know, I ended up liking the teenagers very much. I ended up really thinking they worked out great, but they weren't originally there. And that was NBC's idea, because they said, no teenagers will go to see the movie if they don't have teenagers in the movie. I think there are a few movies that would kind of argue with that, like maybe Evil Dead and Aliens, but 9 million others. But anyway, that was their logic, and we did it, and it worked out.
It certainly did. All right, Shadow, hit it.
We know that there's going to be the evil uncle. We originally wrote the part for Vincent Price. Vincent thought it was just something too bawdy for his taste at the time. Although he had been on her local TV show a couple of times.
We were the local town for a kid, and so we were like the C storyline, D storyline. There wasn't a lot. Yeah. This is actually kind of a funny story. So I remember going to the casting. You know, the characters were very all-American, just kind of straightforward kid, and I guess I was pretty cute when I was younger. But in the casting, there was this beautiful young man. And I'm thinking, in my head, I was thinking, well, if they want to go pretty, that's where they're going to go. If they want to go with an actor, they'll go with me.
So what was the casting process like for your film?
Oh, the casting process was awesome. I loved it. I mean, we were seeing everybody in Hollywood. You would not believe all the people that we saw for these parts. The kid that he was talking about, who was so beautiful, who came in, happened to be Brad Pitt. Yeah, I know. And he was so stunningly gorgeous that my thinking was, if that kid's in the movie, I'm not going to be chasing Dan. I'm going to be chasing him. And since he really was a 20-something-year-old playing the part of an under-18 guy, wouldn't have looked good. Yeah, so we decided he's just too damn cute to be in the film. And anyway, yeah, I really know how to pick him, right? I saw Brad years later, and oh, by the way, on my notes, when you do casting, you have notes, and you write down comments about their acting ability and how they looked and blah blah blah. My only note for Brad Pitt was yum yum. Anyway, that'll give you a clue. So anyway, I saw Brad years later when he bought my house, and I told him, Brad, you should really be down on your knees thanking me for saving your career. Had I put you in my movie, you would be nowhere now. So you appreciate it.
All right, Shadow, hit it.
I was Elvira's stand-in and photo double on the film. And I'd never done anything like that before, and I said, sure, why not? You know, so I went to the audition. And there were probably, I want to say maybe about a dozen women there. It wasn't a whole lot of people. But we were all in, you know, black, low-cut, you know, tops and lots of cleavage. And we all looked the same, exactly the same. I was a good double for her. We were the same height, same body type, same cleavage, of course. Our hands were the same. Our hair wasn't, but it didn't matter because we were wigs. So, but our skin tone was the same. In fact, her mother came up to me once on the set, started talking to me, and didn't realize I wasn't her. So I thought that made me a pretty good double.
So what does it take to fill out Elvira's dress in order to be your stand-in?
Well, as you can see, I just stuff myself like a sausage into anything I find. I don't know what it takes. It takes a lot of exercising and a lot of watching what I eat. Of course, when I come to these cons, I just go crazy. I drink little baby Dr. Peppers all day because they're like autograph signing juice. And I eat everything that's not nailed down, so it's just kind of a mess. But yeah, that might be the hardest part, keeping your body together to get into that costume. Susan did a fantastic job. She was working on it. She became one of my best friends, and she's a wonderful author right now of horror novels. She has a new little novelette out called The Vampire of Waller County. And she's a great writer, really, so that's amazing. And she was, at that time, she was just busy supporting her deadbeat boyfriend, Jerry Seinfeld. Yeah, before he was famous. of course, as soon as he became famous, he dumped her, but, you know, oh well, that's life in Hollywood, right?
Hi, Shannon.
Well, I've been working quite a bit, and I was brought in to meet Cassandra and Jim Signorelli and Joel Thurm. And as I chatted with them and they told me about the role of Bob, Cassandra said something to me that was rather outrageous. And I think the expression on my face, my look of shock and innocence, I remember them saying, "That's Bob."
All right, well, you know what I'm going to ask, and I think what we all want to know is, what did you say to him?
Oh, well, Dan. You mean in Dan? Yeah. Oh. He was, I mean, I loved Dan. He was big and hunky. He was exactly the guy that we were looking for, like a little Abner type. Big, dumb, and, you know, I won't finish the rest. And anyway, he was awesome, and that was hard to find. We would find guys who were really good actors, who didn't look big and hunky enough, and guys who looked big and hunky who couldn't act their way out of a paper bag. So he was the toughest character, I would say, to cast in the movie. And when we found him, when he walked in the door and he could actually act, we were in heaven. He was just a doll. He was actually a nice Jewish boy from Florida. He was a linebacker for Florida State University. Florida State, I think. Yeah, he was quite a big deal there. And he was a doll, but he was so naive. And everything I said made him blush. It was insane that this guy really was like little Abner, you know, just and you know, he's a smart guy, he's not stupid, but he was so naive and innocent. It was great to corrupt him. Great fun.
All right, next clip.
Trash does not compete with class. I thought she was great. Patty, queen of the tidy bowl bowling alleys. I know, I liked her, and I gave her sort of a little bit of an accent, and she was just sort of fun to play with, and Elvira was fun to play with. There was a little bit of concern about the fact that I had a physical attribute, or attributes, that didn't quite fit with the character Patty. So, I don't know if it's a spoiler alert or, or alerts, but we got a body double who volunteered to do a certain scene on the proviso that she got her union card. And then there was ace bandages involved after that. That's all I'll say. You can watch the movie to find out what I'm talking about.
So are you and Susan as opposite in real life as you are in the film?
Not quite that opposite. She was absolutely great. I really wanted her. And by the way, you know, a lot of you probably recognized her from Beetlejuice. She was in that, it's also their 30th anniversary this year. It's funny, Beetlejuice and Elvira, yeah. But she was awesome. But we wanted her so badly, but she did have like really big gazillas. So we figured, what could we do? So it took a lot of little extra steps and a lot of ace bandages to get her into the part, but she did such a great job. She was so perfect as Patty.
Awesome. All right, next clip.
It was my third year as a professional actor. It was one of my first jobs, as a matter of fact, because I was a late bloomer, because I had to grow into being a balding, executive type, bad guy, good guy. So I sold real estate until 1985, and then started working enough that I could quit real estate. And in fact, I played a realtor
Oh, he was super funny, and it was so awesome. He was a real estate agent, and he was going to play a real estate agent. It was awesome. But he was also very shy. He hadn't been an actor, so he wasn't really, you know, down with all the stuff that goes on. And, you know, we meet each other, and 5 minutes later, my legs are up in the air, you know. He was apologizing and apologizing, and I was like, no, it's okay, really. I do this all the time. But he was a doll, and he's gone on to be in 1,000,001 movies. I'm sure you guys have seen him. His career really, really took off. So he was absolute pleasure to work with too.
And you gave him a start. And
he also got attacked by Gonk. It was crazy. Well, Gonk attacked a lot of people, but he got seriously attacked by had to call the paramedics and stop shooting. That little poodle went after him and bit him on the leg. Drew blood, and he had to have a shot, and the Gonk's a whole other story, but Kurt was the one who got the brunt of Gonk's anger.
Oh, Gonk, all right. Nice clip.
I mean, I ended up playing some guy who kind of looks like me. I mean, and I get blown up in the title sequence, and I'm wearing a pair of Rick Baker's teeth. The famous, very famous makeup designer. Friend of mine had Rick Baker's teeth, so I'm wearing them, and they're all like buck teeth. And I didn't want to look like myself. I'm always like, you know, if I'm going to act, I don't want to just like be me. I mean, turn me into somebody. So I decided to be this like down south, like really ugly, you know, smoking a cigarette guy. And so gas is spilling everywhere, and I don't notice, and I just chuck the cigarette, walk inside the house, and cut to explosion. So I was there to watch the cool explosion, which really looked like a minor A-bomb going on.
Well, in the opening sequence, okay, so it really started off with a bang. I want to know what your experience was like with Jeff. With Jeff.
John, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, John. Yeah, sorry, John, Paragon. Well, John and I mean, John is the godfather to my child. John was one of my very, very best friends since we were in the Groundlings together in the 70s for 4.5 years. John is a brilliant comedian and actor and director and writer. And he was my writing partner for 21 years. And he also wrote Pee-wee's Playhouse and directed Pee-wee's Playhouse and played John B. the Genie on Pee-wee's Playhouse. Brilliant, brilliant guy. And anyway, we wrote every single project I ever did. Movie Macabre, my first movie, my second movie, all the TV shows, everything John and I wrote together. So anyway, brilliant guy. And he did a really cute character. We didn't really have a part for him in the movie, or we would have given him a lot bigger part, but there wasn't anything that was really, you know, specific to him. And he was pretty darn busy writing, even during the movie. That explosion, I just have to mention, that was one of the most intense moments of my life. Whoa, dude.
Now they can see the screens better.
That was intense too. Okay. Anyway, yeah, the explosion was, really, you can't, they just told me the car, which was a big piece of junk, had to be towed in all the scenes that you see. There were moments where it worked, but it was always iffy. So they're towing the car, I'm in it, they just go, the explosion's gonna go off, don't look back, just remain calm. I'm like, okay. When that thing went off, I mean, it rocked everything, my world and everything else. I felt like the back of my hair was on fire, and the heat from it was like melting my sunglasses. I cannot tell you. But I tried to stay cool. I thought I was going to be doing the Michael Jackson hair on fire thing, but I just kept driving. And then when they said cut, I just fell over like, oh my God. But I knew that we couldn't do it again, because we can only blow up so many gas stations a day, you know? We didn't have that big a budget.
So you only shot that sequence one time?
It was a one-time shot. If we didn't get it, it was out of the movie. So I just took everything I had to stay cool.
You looked cool. All right, next clip.
Maybe? Oh, maybe they lost the electricity.
And I also remember being in a truck full of pigs with Edie McClure and another large gentleman who was very nice. And I remember thinking, this is show business? I'm in the back of a truck with pigs, big pigs. One of them could have pooped at any time. One of them could have kicked it. Anything could have happened. And we're back there in nude, like, we were supposed to be naked. And poor Edie McClure, I mean, she didn't sign up for that. That was one of the most humiliating moments of my career. I had another humiliating moment that I'm not going to bring up because it might remind me.
So, the most important question is, did the Sows get their SAG card? Did the Sows get their SAG card to the pigs in the movie?
Oh, yes, but sorry, I got kind of a feedback from her.
It's a little echoey.
Yeah, you know what? Those poor people, Edie McClure and Kurt Fuller and I can't remember the other actor's name, but they had to be almost naked in a truck with 3 500-pound pigs. And it was not pretty. And then the scene ended up getting cut from the movie on top of it all. But I suppose the pigs did get their SAG card. Today they're bringing home the bacon. Sorry.
No, you're fantastic. Was there any other interesting moments that the actors experienced on set that you're aware of?
Oh, interesting moments the actors experienced? Oh, every day was interesting for the actors, I'm sure. It was just so crazy. That one of the toughest things was shooting that rain scene at the end of Fire, where I'm burning at the stake and it's pouring rain and it is freezing outside. I know it's LA, but it was at night in the winter. It had to be maybe 30 degrees. Everybody, I'm in front of a fire, so I'm burning up, but everybody else is freezing to death. So there's water, there's children, there's animals, there's fire. It was a nightmare to shoot, and almost every actor was involved in it one way or another. And that shoot went on for 3 days during the night. We'd start at dark every night and stop shooting when it became light. And I never thought that was going to end, and I'm sure all the actors felt the same way.
All right, let's roll the next clip.
One of the ways that I believe New Orleans marketing people came up with was, having a Girl Scout in the one sheet setting the fire of her on the pyre, and it was not going over well with the Girl Scouts to have a Girl Scout set it on fire. Which, imagine the Girl Scouts at a party, no kidding. But so yeah, they photoshopped Edie McClure into setting her on fire, which didn't actually upset anybody because essentially it's a woman setting a woman on fire was also weird. Like, wait, what was that about? It was more like the Salem witch trials, like suggestive of that.
So what is your relationship like with the Girl Scouts now?
Oh, well, the Girl Scouts, I buy a lot of their Thin Mint cookies. I know that, so it should be good. Yeah, that was really funny. I mean, we thought the idea of the brownies to the Girl Scouts, setting Elvira on fire. They know how to make campfires, right? That's what they're trained for. We thought that would be very funny, and indeed it was, but not to the Girl Scouts. So, yeah, that was it. And they should have known. I was a Girl Scout until I was 16 years old. I'm the world's oldest Girl Scout. 1 year later, I was a showgirl in Vegas. Go figure. But I went straight from the Girl Scouts to showgirl. I don't know. And I didn't get very many badges. I think I had a badge in dancing or something like that. I figured, right? Yeah, I got my stripping badge later. But anyway, I hope my relationship with them is good. I support them very much, especially buying cookies. Yeah.
So you're a Thin Mint girl? Okay.
Put them in the freezer. They're awesome.
Right? All right. Next clip.
It was fun. It was made with a great deal of affection, which is what made it fun. Which is wonderful. Sorry, today it's It's all angst. And comedy comes from angst. Comedy comes from being unhappy. A lot of the comedy comes from being happy. It's the whole point.
What was the energy like on set?
Oh, the energy was fantastic. Everybody's really, unless they were acting, which they could have been because they're actors, but no, everybody was having a fantastic time as far as I know. I know I was. I mean, there were difficult moments, but everybody was excited about it and laughing. I mean, because we were doing a lot of really funny stuff every day. And actors were doing things that they normally wouldn't do as actors, I think. But the energy was fantastic all the time. It was really, really one of the most fun times I've ever had. And I think that probably translates, you know, to the film. Because I think you see that the actors really are into it and having a good time. So, you know, hopefully it translated anyway.
I definitely think it did. Well, the only way to end this clip show is with a show-stopping number. So I said, let's roll this footage.
Las Vegas. Las Vegas. Las Vegas.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Flamingo Hotel is proud to present the Mistress of the Dark, Elvira.
I've always dreamed of doing this, and now I've got my chance. So excuse me while I indulge myself in a little song and
you guys know otherwise, that I was the first female to ever do a rap song in public. And you know, I know, it's so white. I know, I'm sorry about that part. But, you know, that's kind of awesome, right?
I was going to ask when your rap album is dropping, actually. I think you did a great job. What was the energy like filming that big final show-stopping scene?
Ooh, the energy to film the big final show-stopping scene was kind of not great, because that was the only day that turned out to be kind of bad. They wanted to end the film without shooting the Vegas number because they ran out of money. And I went into the head of NBC's office and laid on the carpet and cried. I'm not kidding, begged and pleaded and cried until he finally gave in and said, we'll shoot it. And the movie had wrapped, everybody had gone home, it was all over. They brought in an entire new crew, new people, new everything, went to a different studio, Raleigh Studios in Hollywood, and shot it finally after I pitched such a big hissy fit. And the day that we decided to do it, 2 weeks after we had wrapped, I came down with a horrible flu. And I was so sick that day. I swear when I'm doing that, I have like a fever of 104. I couldn't see straight. I couldn't walk. I was deathly ill that day. And it didn't matter. I had to shoot it anyway. So it was really hard. And there were a lot of retakes and a lot of things cut into segments just to get through the days. So, you know, I think it finally ended up okay, but man, I'll tell you, that was the hardest day to get through in maybe in my life. Yeah.
And I'm obsessed with that outfit. So what went into creating that beautiful look?
That outfit was, oh my gosh, it's the designer that designed everything for Dynasty. What's his name? Oh my God. Who? Well, Pete Menefee was the assistant to him. Pete worked on the costumes, but the person who designed my finale outfit was Pete Menefee's boss. What is his name? I mean, Bob Mackey! Thank you! God, see, my brain's not working anymore. Bob Mackey designed that dress. Pete Menefee was his assistant, and he designed many of the other things on the show. So, yeah. So it's kind of cool to have a Bob Mackey dress. It was actually an old Cher dress that he tweaked. How do you like that?
That is so cool. I feel like we learned a lot of really interesting things here. Did you guys enjoy this? This was so neat, right? Do you have any final thoughts that you'd like to share with us?
Final thoughts? Well, go to elvira.com for all your Halloween needs. And also, please check out my social media and join. It's @TheRealElvira on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. So @TheRealElvira. There's a lot of fake sites out there, so beware. But thank you for coming here. I hope I didn't yak too much and bore you guys. It's been a crazy day. And then just in case anybody had any trouble with those freaking Funko Pops, I really our control. We did everything we could. You can all thank UPS for that one. But anyway, yeah, what a bummer. We thought we all had it planned out perfectly. So I hope I didn't put any of you out too much. I really appreciate your support. And that was just a freaking nightmare. So sorry for that.
You're just that popular, you know?
What did I say?
And are you heading back to your table right now to meet?
I'm going back to my table to sign autographs and meet all of you, so I hope I'll see you over there. And we can get a little one-on-one time.
All right, guys, one more time. Cassandra Peterson!
This is One Broke Gamer Girl. I just want to say a big thank you for watching this video. If you liked what you just watched, then go ahead and hit that like button down below. One more thing, since you've already hit the like button down below. You've already hit the like button down below, right? Well then, why not go ahead and go one step further and leave a comment too? Since you've already hit the like button and left a comment, you did both of those already, right? Then why not just take one more tiny little step and hit the subscribe button as well? Just one more thing, since you've already come this far, would you kindly check out the links in the description? That way you can follow me on Twitter, Twitch, and maybe even check out my blog.